Welcome to our webinar on how to prepare for the University of Minnesota Job and Internship Fair 2022. I have a lot of information to share with you. It should take about 35 to 40 minutes, depending on any questions that come up. The beginning of the year is arguably one of the best times for job hunting, and that's even more true today with the Great Resignation, so many jobs open, virtual and remote jobs happening. Not only it's the busiest time for recruiting and hiring managers, but really honestly, employers are making it a top priority to find new talent right now. Think of this webinar as a GPS or MapQuest for those of you old enough to remember that will guide you in the right direction. Without a map, you may get to your destination, but it could be what I call an adventure journey. So I'm just going to share my slides. So how to be successful at the virtual career fair. This is specifically targeted for the University of Minnesota system-wide virtual career fair, but many of these ideas can use in any career fair or virtual career fair. After all the hard work that you've put into your academics, being in the right place with the right tools can make all of the difference in your success. I want to start by introducing myself and my colleague. I am Nan Thurston, the Career Services Coordinator, and we also have Jacob Isaacs, our Student Success Center Director. First me, I go by she, her, and hers, and will be presenting the information today. As the Career Service Coordinator at the University of Minnesota Crookston, I work with students from the very beginning of their academic career and continue to work with them, with you, after you graduate. Life changes, and I know career goals do too. I am one of those non-traditional, I like to say exemplary students who transitioned from one field into an entirely different one. It takes dedication and focus, but I'm here to tell you it is worth it. Jacob, can you tell them a little bit about you?
Thank you, Nan. Absolutely. Again, my name is Dr. Jacob Isaacs. I go by he, him, his pronouns. I am the Director of Student Success and Academic Advising here at the University of Minnesota Crookston. Excited to have this presentation for you today because we look at career services as being an integral part of our student success model here at UMC. When you are a student on campus, you are engaging in scholarship here on campus as part of a long-term goal of pursuing a professional career path. You might know what that is, or you might not. But regardless of that fact, the Career Services program here at UMC helps you, if you don't know your path toward where you want to go, helps you start to learn about more of what you are looking for as a professional, what you want to do with your degree, maybe even helps you figure out what degree itself you want to pursue while you're here to lead you toward your professional aspirations. And if you already know what that is, fantastic. The Career Services Office helps to direct you toward specific internships, full-time positions, and experiences both on and off campus that can help you reach your career goals. One of my own particular things that I remember from when I was an undergraduate doing career fairs was that there wasn't a lot of training or education about how to engage with the career fair. What are you supposed to do with an employer? How are you supposed to go up and talk to somebody who you've never met before about a job you'd kind of like to have, or maybe you don't even know what kind of jobs they offer at all? How do you do career fairing? And so as an undergraduate, I struggled with career fairs because I didn't know how to do it, how to effectively engage with somebody as an aspiring professional. That's what this presentation is here for today, is to help you get a few bits of knowledge under your belt, some things that you can put into practical usage so that whether you encounter the virtual career fair coming up this spring or any other career fair in person or online, you know what to do to put the best foot forward, to get the information you need, and hopefully get yourself on the path toward that internship or full-time job you're looking for. So back to you, Nan.
Thank you so much. That's perfect. It really is. What we do is not necessarily just a job, but it's an opportunity for us to see people succeed. And that makes a difference in people's lives. Just a little housekeeping. If you have questions, please feel free to put those in the Q&A box. Ultimately, if it's something that's going to be beneficial for our larger group, we will answer those when we're done with the presentation. I'll be sending you a survey, post, webinar, and the PowerPoint following this presentation, and we'll be posting a recording on our website. We are working on quite a few resources that will be available to both our current students and alumni, and your feedback is very important to us. So here it is. How to prepare. The biggest thing is knowing before you go. The information presented today will include how to access the fair, what to prepare ahead of time, and how to make a positive impression on employers, and tips on being successful in a virtual environment. With virtual networking becoming the norm, tapping into a geographically dispersed alumni network becomes even easier. 67% of respondents of employers and students feel that you don't need to meet in person these days to establish that professional connection. Virtual connections also open up ways for you to find a wide variety of mentors across different industries, roles, and personal backgrounds. These connections can help you crystallize your skills and your interests into a clear career path. Participating in a career fair, whether virtually or in person, is a great way to get yourself in front of employers and stand out during the application process. Whether you're new to networking, or as I like to refer to it as relationship building, or if you already have an established network, this is a great chance where you can continue to grow and build those relationships. I like to call it social capital. This is also an opportunity to connect with that hidden job market. Many employers are already aware of upcoming jobs before they're even posted. You can get flagged by an employer by making a positive impression to move on to the next steps. That's basically just saying if you build and connect with an employer, they may pass along to human resources or a connection within the hiring process and ask that they keep an eye out for you and your application. Most employers actually report that they plan to follow up with at least one student, and the majority plan to follow up with anywhere from 5 to sometimes 10 plus candidates. It's important to identify your personal purpose as you prepare. Why? Because it comes down to a simple pattern of growth. In anything, and I'm a gardener, so I'll say this, anything unattended will choose its own growth pattern, such as weeds, and you want to be intentional in what your approach is. Before you go to the fair, you should know what your purpose in attending is, as that will help you best prepare for it. Is it for a job? Is it for an internship? Is it to develop those larger relationships? That's something you should think about before you do this. A career fair does not equal a job. I want to make sure you remember that. Going to a job and an internship fair to learn more and connect with people is different than going to secure a position for the summer or the following year. This career fair is where you get your chance to create an impression and a relationship with an employer, which could lead to that job opportunity down the road. The benefits of attending are that you can gain experience and practice being in a professional setting. You can discover positions, companies, and maybe even an alternative career path, which you may not have considered if you're not looking for an internship or a job actively. This can be your chance where you can learn more about companies and positions. You can find out what employers seek in applicants too, and you can set up those possible interviews. So use your interactions at the career fair to learn as much as you can about what employers look for in the people they hire, inquire about possible career opportunities, and build those relationships. Take notes, follow up, and use the information to enhance your search strategies. Employers remember candidates who make the extra effort. So before the fair, here's a little overview, just simple. We'll be going into more details. Set yourself up for success and make the most out of Handshake. Handshake is your opportunity for branding yourself one more time. It's the only place that connects you, your school, and employers together. All of the jobs on Handshake are meant for students. In fact, Handshake has the most opportunities for students and new college graduates of any of the job platforms out there. Use all of them, but think about that. It's also the only place where recruiters are recruiting specifically for our school. You increase your chances of having a recruiter message you directly with job opportunities and event invitations. In fact, 80% of students who fill out their profile receive a message from a recruiter. In Handshake, you can apply for a job, find career events, such as job fairs, informational events, on-campus interviews, and internships. You can register for these virtual fairs. You can upload your resume and you can connect with alumni. So let's talk a bit about your resume. Updating it is a great idea. After all, this is your one shot to really impress. Watch your form. These are just a few tips I want to give you. Watch your form. Please try to keep your resume to 1 page. You can do 2 pages if you have a lot of work and history behind you. Choose a form style that's aesthetically pleasing to you, easy to read, but also think about the industry you're joining. I strongly encourage you to preview the resume samples available to you on our Career Services website for assistance. When selecting a resume font, and there should only be one, please keep in mind the industries that you're applying for. Maintain that consistent formatting throughout your resume, and also make use of the list of action verbs available on our websites. Prioritize, consolidate, and cut when necessary. Editing will be your friend. After completion, proofread for spelling and grammatical errors, and then send it to us. We offer resume and cover letter critiques. That's an opportunity for you to get another set of eyes on the important document. You can also think about what format it is. The first step is, which one? There's 3 basic resume formats: reverse chronological, functional, and combination. Each format has advantages and disadvantages based on how the resume sections are arranged. Please reach out to us and I will work with you on that. When you're creating your resume, I want you to think about your transferable skills. While creating a resume isn't the easiest task, take heart in knowing that much of your experience, even if it's a completely different industry, will still be relevant. It's especially important to highlight your transferable skills when you're changing career goals. On your resume, yeah? Go ahead, Jacob. I see you have a point.
I'm sorry to interrupt with that, man. Additionally, one thing that's important with this process and talking about transferable skills, if you get the chance to start looking at some of the positions that you might be interested in before you go to a job fair, that gives you a good platform to look at what skills they're looking for and how to tie in some of those skills into your resume, because you might not have thought about things that you were doing with your job or with any of your activities you were doing before that might be transferable into what you are doing, what you want to do with a particular position, like things related to marketing or working with people, communicating, problem solving. All the things that are listed on this slide here may be things that you can highlight in your resume and take to a career fair that are broadly accessible for a lot of employers and make you stand out as a candidate.
That is so true. So on your resume, work all of those transferable skills into the descriptions of with your previous experience, taking care to match the language that you see in the job postings. That also goes into research, and we'll talk about that more later. And last but not least, have a little fun. There's no one way to create a resume, so feel free to explore those formats, styles, and spots. You'll see at the right of my slide the top 10 skills at the top 10 companies. Management is still the #1 skill nationwide, and it is one of the top in-demand skills at each of the top 10 companies, but other skills include communications, operations, leadership, problem solving, innovation. Many of these skills are considered soft skills, but are crucial in keeping huge companies functioning. Here's a graphic to show which top skills are shown right through there on the right. It's from MC job postings. We actually right now still have access to MC. So if you wanted to reach out to me and connect on what a particular industry has for their top skills that they're searching for, I can help you out with that. You will want to, once it's done, you'll want to add your resume to your profile. If you already have one, make sure it's updated. This is important to note. Companies can and will review your resumes in advance for the students who sign up to speak with them. It takes some time. Students will need to have their first resume reviewed by someone in Handshake when you add it to your account. So do that right away. It's a very busy time. Many new accounts are created during the month of the career fair, and many employers have interviews after the fair. So you want to have that improved resume to apply. When you create your resume, I suggest focusing on the future as well as the now. Over the past years, we've seen a considerable increase in changes in this. Anyone know what this particular Fortune 500 community, this diagram on the left, presents? It's Walmart. So unsurprisingly, the top 3 skills this retail giant is looking for are customer service, sales, and merchandising. And you can see how they've adjusted their postings between 2012 and 2017. You can also take, this is a Future of Jobs Report 2020 from the World Economic Forum. Look at what the top 10 skills of 2025 are. So we're seeing skills in self-management, such as active learning, resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. And critical thinking and problem solving are top the list of skills employers believe will grow in prominence in the next 5 years. So I think we've all had experience doing that recently. It's a great opportunity for you to highlight that within that. And just a quick look at, again, the top 10 skills right now: management, communication, sales, customer service, operations, leadership, innovation, problem solving, CDL, and of course, nursing. But research your industry, because every industry has some different skills. For ExxonMobil, as an example, operations has moved up to the top rather than management, and that makes sense. Apple, management, communications, innovation. United Health Group, management, Medicare, Medicaid. So it's all about what the industry is that you're looking at going for. And again, please reach out to me if you want any assistance with your resume. But let's start looking at the fair itself. The process of registration is fairly simple. I'll be breaking it down to shorter sections to be thorough. Look on your Handshake main page and you can find 2 ways to seek the UMN Career Fair. We'll get to that. But if you look at that, you want to go to Gold Pass powered by Handshake and select your students and alumni login button. Log in using your internet ID and password as you would any other U of M site. And I also have a link for articles on registering for fairs. Although we can't go into detail on creating your Handshake account here today, if you want some help with that, I'm available for you. So there's links for setting up an appointment with me, and I'd be happy to do that. When you're in there, make sure that you update and complete your profile. 1, set your profile to community for complete access to all of the sessions, both one-on-one and group sessions. You can click on the photo icon that will be in the right-hand top of your screen on your Handshake homepage. Select settings and privacy. Scroll down to the privacy section, you can select community. Again, there's articles for changing student privacy settings if you need that. I'm going to say it again, this is so important. Change your profile visibility. Change it from private, if it's there, to community. That's what you'll be looking at. Then complete your profile to qualify for those one-on-one sessions. Go under education in my profile, edit this information, your college, your graduation date, the major. The GPA is optional, but they can filter on a cumulative GPA. And you can go under that and edit the school year. Upload your resume to your profile. They want to see your resume, and the only way to access it is through your profile. You can also send it to them post-fair, but right now you want to have it up above. There's a link right here to a 1-minute video, which is sometimes a little easier for visual learners, on how to upload your resume. Okay, how do you identify and register for the fair? So when you go to your Handshake site, you can click on events. Right there, I've underlined that. or you can attend an event. There's two different ways to look at it. You can go to there and sign up. You can find your fair by looking for, and this is what you're going to be looking for, is the virtual job and internship fair at the University of Minnesota. So find that. I'd recommend using the filters for virtual fairs. It will make it easier. You will note when you pull it up, your schedule will be displayed on the right hand of the page. And if you want to save the event or fair, click on the bookmark icon and then use the save filter to review them at a later time. Take the next step, make your choice. Register, find the available sessions. You'll have your schedule available and the career fair details available. What's next? After you've made your choice, click on the employer sessions. Because employer sessions can fill up quickly, it is advisable to sign up for your sessions as soon as you can. One of the reasons the fair registration does not open up until the 14th of February is to give all of the employers a chance to finalize the sessions. And then when you go in, you can have all of the choices at one time rather than having to go back. A little tip, use the filter or keyword search on the next page to find the employers that you're interested in. Sign up for those sessions. If you're planning on attending, you have specific employers you're going to want to get on as early as possible. I want you to think about starting to prioritize companies of interest when you're signing up. And here's a little pro tip. Warm up with some of the employers that may be a little bit lower on your list of interests. This will give you a chance to work out any kinks and work into and shake out those nerves. And it can help you be a little bit more confident and comfortable when you build up to the employers that you're really excited to see. Finding the sessions. Click those employer sessions and it'll take you to the available sessions. Using your filters and keyword search again, and recommend using the community as we discussed how important that is. You will see it will state one-on-one or group sessions. Group sessions will have a custom title and indicate a length of 30 minutes. One-on-one sessions are indicated by one-on-one with employer name and are 10 minutes each. Keep in mind multiple divisions from a company may have registered, and the group session may include the division name for clarity. One-on-one sessions, when you sign up for it, click on your preferred session start time, then click confirm to sign up. You can only sign up for one session per recruiter. If there's a red dot to the right of a session start time, that indicates that you are currently signed up for a different session during that time. You can't do that concurrently, obviously. In order to sign, if you decide that you want to change sessions, and in order to sign up for the new session, you'd need to cancel the existing session sign up. With group sessions, when you sign up, review the information, and if you want to proceed, click confirm to sign up. If a group session is at capacity, it will not appear on the list any longer. So if it's listed, it means there's still availability. Once registered, you're going to see a prompt. The prompt will remind you about your resume. Double check your resume, and it will only show up once, and that will be after your first session sign up. So make sure your resume is up to date. Hiring managers do review the resumes. You can click double check resume to review your uploaded resumes and confirm which one is public or viewable by the employer, or you can click on I'm all set. If you know your public resume is correct, only one resume shows at a time. These are some things to think about. What are the top things that employers search for? After job interest, the most popular fields that employers use to find students they'd like to message is your work experience. So have you had a part-time job, internship, work study, research position, or have you volunteered in some relevant situation? Employers like to see that you've taken on responsibility, and these experiences have helped you develop valuable skills. Speaking of skills, add your technical skills like SQL and soft skills like communication. The more skills you list, the better your chances are of showing up in an employer search. Don't forget about your clubs and organizations, volunteer opportunities. These do highlight what your unique interests and involvement on campus are. Go ahead, Jacob.
Nan, what's your advice for someone who looks at a particular job posting and they see that they come close to the qualifications, but they're not quite there? Like maybe they're missing a couple years of experience or missing one or two of the qualities that they're looking for in a candidate.
You really want to focus on what you bring to the table, and that's where transferable skills can come in. So my highest recommendation is to always look at the keywords that you see in the job postings and list experiences and qualifications that you do have that most closely relate to that. Don't focus on the negatives, focus on the positives and make it as robust as possible. Going back to choosing your resume, I do want to add that you can click upload another document. It's in the lower right-hand corner if your desired document isn't listed. Add your resume to your profile, and then you'll get a confirmation stating that your resume is ready to go. One quick response to managing your sessions. You are able to sign up for as many sessions as you want with the following guidance. Session times may not overlap. If you'd like to sign up for a session, but there's a red dot next to the right of the time, that indicates that the times overlap and you'd need to cancel one session to proceed to a new session. You may sign up for multiple one-on-one sessions from the same employer, but not more than one session with the same recruiter. If you'd prefer a different session with a recruiter, you'll need to cancel your first existing one-on-one session and then select a new time. This is what your schedule is going to look like. Review your time to review your additional materials and prepare your talking points. So you can click on the name of your session, cancel session signups until the time is ready to start, and you'll see a warning whenever a session is canceled. That just promotes professional behavior. Review those additional materials and prepare your talking points. I've got a link here. Reviewing 10 tips you need to know about attending a virtual career fair. There's a lot of links and they're very valuable resources. We'll also be sending and posting this later. And see how to prepare for your virtual career fair elevator pitch for introducing yourself to employees. Okay, let's talk a little bit about an elevator pitch. Elevator pitches can be very frightening if you're not careful. I shouldn't say if you're not careful, but you can really think of it as a conversation. There we go. Some people call them elevator pitches, elevator speeches. I sometimes think of it that as being a little intimidating. So think of it more as that conversation or introduction of yourself. You want to show the employer who you really are in a very short period of time, so it's important to prepare for this. You can think of this in adding your information in the form of a present, past, or future. So the present is your name, your school, your major. Your past is your brief overview of skills and experience related to company and positions. And the future is knowledge and interest in their work and positions. You want to connect it with your goals, but also with your employer's goals. Depending on your goals and information, you can adapt easily for each information. Think of this. Think of this as something simple. I'm going to give you a quick example. Hi, my name's Nan Thurston, and I'm a sophomore at the University of Minnesota Crookston. I recently changed my major to accounting, and I'm looking forward to learning more about potential accounting internships for the future. I noticed Ajax Inc. has a creative accounting internship. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? keeping it simple. It's important to practice what you're going to say, but it's also critical that you not sound too scripted. Try not to put so much pressure on yourself, just be yourself. So the introductions typically include your name, your year in school, your major, a bit of knowledge about the company, your goals, what you're hoping to get out of attending the fair, and what you're doing to reach those goals and what you can bring to an organization. It's always a little nice to add, do you have a question for the employer? How do you know what kind of questions to ask? Well, you begin by viewing and researching employers. Trust me, I know that job interviewing is never easy. And with each job, you're meeting new people, selling yourself and your skills, sometimes more than once for different people, and especially when it comes to a career fair. And you need to stay upbeat and enthusiastic throughout all of this. This can be a challenge, especially if you're interviewing for a job you'd love to get hired for. So how do you make it a little less stressful? A little preparation can go a long way. The more time you invest in advance, the more comfortable you will feel in the actual interview. Remember, this is not an exam, and you don't have to study for hours on end. You just need to do your due diligence in researching the company, understand what they are looking for in a new hire, and ensure that you'll be able to discuss your experience and what makes you a great fit for the position. You can do this by clicking on the Show All Employers at the bottom of the page, and you can see an example of what that's going to look like. After you click, you will see each employer's career fair information that includes their name, description, summary of who they are, the job types they're looking for, and the titles they're hiring for. You can also find out the type of students they're looking for, and sometimes even alumni who work there. So once you have that, and if you have an employer of particular interest, I would recommend doing some sleuthing and look at their website, their company reviews, their marketing. You can look at all of this. As you can see, we can even look at students who have worked here. When you do this, try and find the company's brand message and strengths. What is that brand? I've brought it up a little bit before, but it's really that intangible marketing concept that helps people identify a company, product, or information. Knowledge of this will be valuable for you. People often confuse brands with things like logos, slogans, but those are simply marketing tools to promote the brand. Understand who you're going for. So be prepared, do your research on your company before the fair. Now let's talk about checking your video, which would mean finding that hard connection, being aware of your background, finding a quiet space, and being ready to take notes. First of all, first impressions. Let's talk a little bit about that. They count. When I talk to our freshmen, one of the things we dig into is personal branding, again, and why it matters. You will have 7 seconds to make a good first impression. 7 seconds. Within those first 7 seconds of meeting, people will have a solid impression of who you are. And some research even indicates 1/10 of a second is all it takes to start determining traits like trustworthiness. Research has shown that within those initial 7 seconds, people will form up to 11 impressions of you. And this is actually known as the 7-11 rule. 55% of those first impressions are made by what you see, which is a visual. So that means what you wear, your body language, how you dress, all nonverbal clues. In fact, research has shown that nonverbal clues have over 4 times more impact than anything that you can say. 55% is how you look, 38% is how you sound, and only 7% of what you say. So you have 1 to 3 minutes of really selling yourself to the bosses. Here it says within 90 seconds, they know whether they'll hire someone. Appearance and confidence matters. So care about your clothes, smiling. Obviously, we don't have a handshake in a virtual environment, but think about that as you move to the future, what your eye contact looks like and the knowledge of the company, just like anyone else. They are impressed if you know about them. Being on time is so important. Make sure that your first impression is not something you have to rectify. It takes so much more work to change an opinion, And in many cases, especially in a virtual environment, you will not have the chance to do it again. So let's talk a little bit, since those nonverbal clues are important. Clothing and attire. Plan exactly what you're going to wear. Dress for success. Don't wait until the last minute to make sure your interview clothes are ready. Have them out, have them ironed, brush them through. Have an interview outfit ready to wear at all times, really. But you don't want to think about what you're going to wear. Doesn't mean you have to be uncomfortable and need to go on a shopping spree. I will recommend that even for a virtual environment, dress from head to toe. I want you to feel confident. I want you to feel comfortable. Things can happen within the interview where you may have to jump up. And if you do, you want to make sure that what they see conveys professionalism from head to toe. It'll give you more confidence, by the way, and choose that outfit that you feel good about. And think about the profession that you're working for. So what is the message you're sending through your clothing? Dress in a way that is authentic to you and your identities, that is comfortable, neat, and clean. I'm going to talk just a moment on professionalism defined. It's also important that it's difficult sometimes to pinpoint exactly what professionalism is, because the concept can vary slightly from one cultural context to another, as well as from one industry to another. If you're interested in learning more about cultural context in this respect, let me know. We've got something in the works for that. Since this is a virtual fair, setting up for the video interview is truly important. We recommend using a video for a more personal experience, and when you do, test your microphone and camera prior to the event, as I promise you, testing it, you won't regret it. If it's possible, plug your computer into a wired connection. I know that's not always possible, but it's a nice backup just in case. Try to close any additional programs that you have running online and outside of, so your web browser, your tabs, any extra windows, videos, online games. This will really help increase your speed on your computer and eliminate any bumps when you're working through that connection. Try to position your computer and camera so there's a blank wall behind you. If that's not possible, try to manipulate your environment so that it looks like a professional setting. As an example, try to think of things like bookshelves in your background rather than your bed. Make sure you have good lighting. Natural lighting is best if you can get there. Limit your distractions. Turn off the TV, the radio, your phone, any other noise. I know some of these seem obvious, but especially when it comes to the day of, it's amazing how our minds get so tied into what we're going to be doing that we forget all about some of the outside noises. Speaking of outside noises, keep an eye on those distractions. If you have pets or anyone else is living with you, try to work with them and make sure they're situated so that they can't interrupt the meeting. But know that sometimes that happens, and it's okay. If it does, you apologize, turn off your camera, mute your audio, fix whatever situation was created, and just come back to the conversation. Don't stress about it. Perfect does not exist. It's okay, they'll understand, and you can just take care of it and hop right back in. Another thing that might be beneficial is to have notes from your research available right next to your computer. Then you can go back to it. Keep it on the side of your screen or wherever you can access them without constantly looking at the camera. And practicing with a family or friend is always a good idea. So simple points, great success. Okay. We've done all of this preparation. It's the day of the fair. What do we do now? You want to log in, be early for meetings 5 minutes early. Be familiar with your meeting schedule and ready for your employer interactions. You may have downtime, so look at other companies when you have that open time. Maintain your professionalism always. Be proactive on setting up for the interview. When you're interacting with employers, well, that's why you're here. Before speaking with an employer, review your notes on that specific company. This will refresh your memory of what it is they do, as well as what questions you have for them. Be confident. Remember I said in the first impressions, confidence is important. So when approaching them, be yourself, but be confident. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that recruiters and employers are people just like you and I. They've been in our shoes before, so they know how nerve-wracking it can be to attend a job fair. They are here to help you, so don't be afraid. They want to find people to hire. So be engaged, be yourself, and you'll do great. What do you ask them? Well, here's some ideas. It's not only what you ask, but how though. Nonverbal communication, I touched point on that, but let's go to it again. It's important in any conversation. And when it comes to a video interview, a lot of the avenues through which we usually give nonverbal cues, such as eye contact, body language, even small murmurs of agreement, are cut off. So we have to lean more heavily on what we have left, namely facial expressions and clues. So let the other person finish speaking if they're talking. When you speak, let the other signal when your answers are complete. And if there's a really long pause, try to explain them. But also remember there's sometimes power in a pause, but we're talking about long pauses. Treat your video interview like a conversation. This is key for any interview, but it's especially important because that's the only way you're able to make a connection. You don't have the time before and after the interview to make small talk. So it's important that you build rapport during your interview. Be personable, be yourself. You want to talk like you're talking to someone while still remaining professional. And these, what I've got, are just ideas. There's obviously more, but sometimes it's good to have those clues. Okay, you've made it through the fair, you've signed up, you've registered, you've had your conversations. What do you do? Job fairs can be a little overwhelming, but after the fair, make sure you connect with your employers. Collect your thoughts before you've talked to them. You've worked hard to get here. Make sure you put a finish on it. Don't underestimate the importance of saying thank you. As soon as your interview concludes, you should thank your interviews for their time, but also send them a thank you afterwards. Follow up with a thank you email. Otherwise, the interviewer may take your silence as a sign that you're not really interested in the position. There's a survey out there from Account Tips that reports that 80% of employers take thank you notes into consideration when deciding who to hire, but only 24% of candidates send them. So taking a few minutes to show your appreciation for the interviewer's time is well worth it. All employers may also ask you to connect with them on LinkedIn or another platform, so of course do it. Use Handshake as your way to research the company further. And if there's other ways for employers to contact you later, they may do so. So going through connecting, thank you, reiterate important information, always remember to proofread, and you may want to include a copy of your resume to set yourself apart. Take these actions. Like I said, put a wrap on it. Here are a few simple suggestions. You can follow up in Handshake via following their company profile. You can apply for positions. You can message other students or alumni that have worked for the employer or a publicly listed point of contact for the company. You can respond to the employer's messages through Handshake. You can apply for an active job. They may have an interview schedule set up or an event. Participate in those, attend the events. If you really want to quickly review who you attended sessions with, you can navigate back to the fair in Handshake with a direct link to the fair or browse using the filter past fairs. Clicking on your schedule tab will give you a list of your signed up sessions. The session's host name, job title, and the company will display. Click on the button, send a message to the right of the host's information, and that would be if you'd like to follow up with them directly. Always take the time to reflect. Like I said, job fairs can be really overwhelming. Talking to recruiters all day and learning so much about several different companies is a lot. So I recommend spending some time reflecting after the fair. While you're talking with them, take some notes when you can, or elaborate later. Write what you learned, what you liked and disliked about each company, and any specific information they gave you, such as how to apply for their internships, etc. You want to be happy in your job search, and knowing who you're going to could be very important with that. No matter what answering these questions and others can help you prepare for your next expo or meeting with any business professional as you develop your networking process. Here's a list of resources. This is just a start. There's tons of videos, blogs, and articles for you to review if you want. We have some listed on our website. Handshake has many of them listed. I hope this gives you some advice of what you can use to prepare for career fairs in the future. There's a lot of preparation and thought that goes into attending a job fair. So hopefully what I've given you today helps you feel a little bit less overwhelmed when the job fair season comes back around. As always, Career Services is more than happy to answer any further questions you might have. Speaking of questions, do we have any?
And if you have questions, please feel free to type them into the chat.
Absolutely. Nothing's coming in. So I think we're okay. We'll go ahead and we're going to wrap up. As a reminder, we are available for resume and cover letter reviews, online consultants, and on-campus appointments. Feel free to reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you with any other questions. Thank you so much. I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you. Thank you.